What do you think, Dave? You think does the commissioner have to do anything else in light of this?
He has to make a statement. I think he has to say something, and yeah, I think he does, because I guess in theory, Ryan, someone could pick him up and he'd be available to play in Week 3, right?
Yeah, nobody's going to.
No,
yes.
I know. But what happens if you're right? They won't. But hypothetically, if you wanted to pick up Ray Rice, you're right. You're a team. You're looking to make a splash. You're the Raiders.
Oh, wait. You know what?
Yeah.
Here you go. It just comes down. The NFL has announced that Ray Rice has been suspended indefinitely.
There you go.
So, and if to play again in the NFL, Ray Rice will have to reapply to the league.
There you go. And that's what it has to be. I mean, you can't have video. And I think that's what separates this, because let's not be naive. Do you think this never, ever happens? Do you think that there's never a player in the league or in sports that sadly has struck a woman and knocked her out and had to do something like he did in a hotel? I'm sure it's happened. But what separates this from all the other ones, Ryan, is that we actually saw it, and it hits home because we've actually seen video of this man striking a woman, knocking her out, dragging her caveman style out of an elevator, and I think that's the big difference with this one.
It is the big difference, and there's a part of me that's disgusted by that, right? Like, why should the video make that much of a difference when you are looking at when you know what happened? You know, we all know what took place. We all know that he punched her, knocked her out, and we knew that when we see him dragging her out of the elevator.
But that's also the video. I'm not talking about just this second piece of video.
Oh, yes.
I'm talking about the whole thing.
Yes.
Look, Ray McDonald on the Niners, right? Allegedly punched his wife, who's pregnant now, and the Niners still went and played him. What's the difference? I think the big difference is we've seen, like, you've now visualized it. You know how strong things are for us visually. When we see them, it kind of separates it. That, for me, is the big difference here. That's why this story is bigger and gets more discussion, is because there's pictures to go along with his actions.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. And video also makes you emote in a different way. It affects you much differently when you actually see what is going on. And when you see him punch his wife and do it twice, it turns your stomach, and it makes you motivated to react and to want something to happen. Willie in Manhattan. Willie, you're on the Lexus of Route 10 hotline with Ruocco and Rothenberg.
How you doing, Ryan? How you doing?
Hi, Willie.
Hey, my
Willie.
point. I'm sorry, Rothenberg. I didn't say hello to you.
That's all right, Willie. How are you?
All right,
good.
I'm okay. My position is with Ray Rice is one. They just released him. So now that they released him, whose wife just married, everybody's complaining about the wife or complaining about the incident, but the wife married him. So why do we care if she doesn't care?
Well, who says that she doesn't care?
She married him after the incident.
No, but Willie, that is the worst piece of evidence you could possibly present to your argument. These women, a lot of times,
You're speaking on somebody else that we don't know them. They just like we say, women
Willie.
don't know us, men don't know women don't know us, just like men don't know women.
Charles Manson is married, Willie, isn't he? Right? I mean, right, Ryan? Charles Manson is now married.
I don't know whether or not Charles Manson is or isn't. I'm not sure. But what I do know is that when it comes to domestic violence, that is a very regular occurrence. The woman feels like she can't get out from underneath somebody.
And how often do you hear that the woman feels like the victim in all of this?
Yes, it's a psychological problem, and it is now. That doesn't mean to say that they couldn't possibly have a good relationship now. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is you cannot just look at the fact that they got married and say that, oh, everything's fine and we should ignore it. She may need our protection and our help, or the help of law enforcement, or the protection of her loved ones now more than ever. Just because she's married to Ray Rice does not mean that she is safe from him. Does not mean that everything is okay. Does not even mean that she loves him. Sometimes you just feel yourself coming under their power, and you cannot let yourself go from that. I mean, that is a very, very common occurrence. I cannot understand how people look at them getting married and say, oh, everything must be fine.
The two things that frustrate me in this argument is they got married, and clearly that's water under the bridge for them, and they're fine. And the second thing that bothers me to no extent is the, he was defending himself, and in fact, he was also the victim. And it's antiquated thinking, it's stupid thinking, it's naive thinking. He's wrong here. And finally, it took till we see this video for us to actually get on this ship and say it's suspended, released, all those things. But I guess better late than never, right?
Bobby, Montclair State. Bobby, you're on the Lexus of Route 10 hotline.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, Bob?
Hey,
Bobby.
What I want to know is, okay, so this new video just came out, and now they're taking more actions. But the video that was first released shows Ray Rice's wife knocked out on the elevator floor, and Roger Goodell and the Ravens saw that when the Ravens decided to stand behind Ray Rice, and when Roger Goodell decided to suspend him for just 2 games. Like, what did they think happened in that elevator that they only gave him 2 games and were going to stand behind him, but now that they saw him throw the punch, now they're changing their stance? What did they think?
They were wrong. They were wrong. They were totally wrong. They got it wrong. They know they got it wrong. They're trying to do everything they can to show how badly they got it wrong and save face, obviously, from a business standpoint, of course. I'm not naive enough to believe that's not a factor. And also to try and make sure that moving forward, we all take these incidents with more gravity. Like, I have to say, Dave, I think that we probably, without the videotape, we all have seen these headlines before with athletes, and we just kind of,
you're numb
we
to
never
it.
really emoted from
You're
them.
immune to it. If you didn't see the video, it'll be Ray Rice is just another, and it's sad to say, and I don't make light of it for a second, but truthfully, Ryan, I think you would agree with this. Ray Rice is just another one in a long line of athletes that have done stuff like this.
Yes, and that's exactly how we would have felt without the video.
Seeing the video makes us feel closer to this story than any of the other ones that we've dealt with. There's others right now. I mean, Ray McDonald, we just talked about moments ago, his girlfriend or wife, I'm not sure what it is 3 months pregnant, and he allegedly struck her. So why is it that we're so much more bothered by this one than that one right now? I think it's because of the video for this.
It is. I also think that, the video let us know that it definitely happened. And then also seeing it, of course, made us emote a certain way when we saw him dragging the body, and then when we saw him actually punching her today. In the case of Ray McDonald, what you have to be careful about is just making sure what whoever is accused of actually happening did actually happen before you start levying punishment and reacting a certain way. You want to make sure it actually happened. If it did, you will see that punishment handed down to Ray McDonald. But until we know that, I don't think people are going to react with the same vitriol because, they don't have videotape, but they also don't have confirmation that definitely happened. They just have the accused and the arrest as of this moment.
Oh, the John
Robin.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let me just make my point. John Harbaugh was interesting with this whole thing because he said he never would want someone like that to play on his team. And then Sunday rolled around and Ray McDonald was active and he played. And they beat up the Cowboys yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe also Harbaugh, I agree with you, but who knows what information Harbaugh has access to about the specific case at this moment. I would give him, that benefit of the doubt, if you will. Rob in Rockland. Rob, you're on the Lexus of Route 10 hotline.
How you guys doing today?
What's up, Rob?
Not much. Listen, this whole Ray Rice thing, man, I think it's just another reason or another excuse for the media to play it up. I mean, we already dealt with this. The NFL, we saw the second part of the tape. It doesn't matter if we saw the first part of the tape, because when I heard about it, just like you and Ryan, I already imagined what happened. I know Ray Rice is 200 and something pounds. I played it out in my mind just like you did, just like everybody else did, which was why we were so upset when Roger Goodell only came down with 2 games. So now that the video surfaces, now we want to go back and say, oh, well, now let's do this. Well, like we didn't already know. Like we didn't already know.
Yeah, but Rob, you know what, Rob? I agree. And that's why there was that initial reaction, which was incredibly strong, and why people had such a huge problem with the lack of punishment initially. But then videotape does make you feel a little bit differently. When you see him actually hit her like you did today, it does make you feel a little bit different. It does.
The
it makes
NFL
it
has
even
done
more
such
stomach-turning.
Such a bad job, Brian. I mean, they could have handled this properly in the first place, and we wouldn't be talking about it now. The fact that this is the number one story on the first Monday after the season is amazing to me.
And I think they know they did. They know they could not have botched it up any worse than they did. Before we get into what we saw from the Jets yesterday, Ray, have you seen the video today that finally surfaced of Ray Rice in the elevator?
No, I haven't seen the video yet, but my wife called me, and my daughter said she's throwing out her Ray Rice jersey. So obviously it's probably not good. I didn't see it, but a lot of bad stuff going on today.
Well, here's my question, Ray. I mean, obviously, the NFL may have known exactly what happened in the elevator without seeing the video, but now that we all see it, it invokes a certain kind of reaction. Do you think the league has to react to our reaction and try and suspend Ray Rice further in order to, quell any demand that may start to surface from the public now that they have access to this video?
Well, you got to take the first part for what it's worth. If they definitely saw the video that's out today, I think it's more or less, Roger Goodell has something to answer to, not just Ray Rice. I mean, if that video is as bad as my wife told me it was, I have to say somebody dropped the ball over at the NFL office. A 2-game suspension for that seems to be light right now. And if they knew, like I said, and I'm not sure that they do, but somebody dropped the ball in a big, big way.
Ray, and I agree with you on that. My big issue, and you played in the league, you know how hands-on this league is with security and with getting information and going behind the scenes. Do you find it hard to believe that TMZ gets the video and the NFL couldn't get the video?
So that's who put out the video?
Yeah,
TMZ?
TMZ put it out, and the NFL and Goodell never saw what they're claiming, Ray, is they never saw it, and they didn't punish him based on what they saw on that video.
Oh, come on. I mean, as thorough as the NFL is, I gotta jump on your boat, Dave. I don't think that's definitely the case. I mean, the NFL finds out things that, they have more ways of finding out stuff. I don't think they would go in half-cocked. That wouldn't sound like the Roger Goodell that we all know that's very thorough and make sure he knows everything before he makes a decision. So, again, claiming that he didn't know it, I don't know. That doesn't sound right to me.
Ray, we're talking with Ray Lucas on the Lexus of Route 10 Celebrity Hotline. Ray, would you, if you were the Ravens, would you consider releasing Ray Rice or administering your own punishment?
I definitely administer my own punishment. I think releasing Ray Rice is definitely on the table as well. Ozzie Newsome is a guy that's well respected in the NFL, and again, this video for what it's worth, I think that they're considering all options right now.
Yeah, and I imagine we're going to get a swift answer from the commissioner, probably a statement soon, and then maybe a new decision on suspension following that. We want to get back into this later on, Ryan. Let's touch on the Jets with you a little bit, Ray. I heard a lot of people talk about the game. It's a win. We're happy with that. It's a brutal schedule, so just to get the W in Week 1 is great. And I've also heard a lot of people saying, watching this game yesterday, the Jets didn't impress them at all. Which side of the fence do you sit on?
I'm on. Listen, I look at the offensive output. You look at Gino's numbers, 82 completion percentage. You're thinking, fantastic, and he was. At times, you could tell he has a better command of the offense. He's definitely more confident. The interception, I thought that he threw. I thought Woodson made a good play on it, but Geno Smith, in your second year, you got to see that weak safety coming over the top. But as a whole, running the football as well. But there's too many penalties. You play a good team. You play in the Green Bay Packers, and you get 11 penalties. Especially, Willie Colon, who's one of my favorites, got 3 penalties in the first half. You can't win games like that. And, you look at the defense after that first drive, they were spectacular. But, again, you have two chances to, Pryor has an interception, right in his chest. He's going to hit his head on the goalpost, and then Kyle Wilson drops one on the sideline. So, again, a win is a win. And, I'm good about that, but I think the offense has a lot of stuff that they need to polish up on before they go ahead into Lambeau Field.
SNY's Ray Lucas joining us on the Lexus of Route 10 Celebrity Hotline here with Ruocco and Rothenberg on ESPN New York. Ray, what about just the confidence that Geno seemed to exude yesterday? I know, as you detailed, there's a few mistakes The accuracy was pinpoint for him yesterday. I think just the look of him, though, is so improved from last year. He looked in command to me. Is that an accurate read?
I would say definitely accurate. I was watching him, and as he walked into the huddle, and all eyes were on him. There was nobody looking away. That's definitely their leader. And again, you're comfortable. You saw him looking off, which he didn't do at all last year because, you got to admit that the offensive weapons that they have now are leaps and bounds better than they were last year. Even if you just get one, even if they just signed Decker by themselves, it's leaps and bounds better than it was last year. And let's face it, all those wide receivers that were there last year never even practiced. Stephen Hill wasn't a guy that practiced. And, how does a quarterback get better not knowing when to throw the football? So to me, I think, the weapons are great. Geno looks like he's in command, but this Wildcat stuff's gone way too far.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Wildcat either.
I hate it. I can't tell you how much I was tweeting. I cannot stand it. If you got a guy like Geno who's looking as good as he looks, let him get into the ebb and flow of the game.
Yep.
Why is there trickery going on?
Yeah, I know Rex loves that. He's been doing that forever. Let me ask you about the mistakes from Geno. And I agree, he was very good, and he was poised. He looked like a better quarterback. The interception by Woodson, is that a blame for Geno, or is that more of just a brilliant play by a future Hall of Famer? And he's got to figure out a way. And maybe you should talk to him. Figure out a way to slide when he gets down there close to the goal line.
Don't even get me started. That first slide, I don't know if it was a slide or it was a sit down, or he was trying to go ahead. I don't know what the hell that was. But, the fumbles, too, are a big problem. You cannot turn the football over. And either one or two things. Somebody needs to come in and teach him how to slide feet first, or he needs to dive head first. One or the other. You can't go halfway and then fumble the football. And then the second part is, he was running around the pocket again. For the most part, two hands on the ball if you watch the game. But one time he takes his hand off the ball and holds it like a loaf of bread like he did last year. They're fortunate enough to get the ball back, but another time where they could have lost that ball. He's got to take better care of the football. To go back to your interception, Dave, I got to be honest with you. I'm not too sure if that wasn't just a great play by Woodson, but I will say this. As a former quarterback, you need to see the backside. That backside safety has to be in your vision if you're going to throw, your curl routes, your in routes, your 15-yard in routes. You got to see that guy on the backside. Other than that, and Geno taking care of the football and holding onto the ball, I thought he played pretty well.
Ray, good stuff. We will look forward to chatting with you more as the season goes along. Good to have football back, and good to hear from you.
Yeah, you guys have a good day.